Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Inside Golf. Here's a thought for you. Imagine that you grew up across the street from a golf course. It was Walnut Lane, a municipal course in the blue-collar row house neighborhood of Philadelphia's Roxborough section. That's where you learn to play. It's where you learn to compete. And it's where you learn to get along with your fellow competitors. Well, today, we're going to introduce you to someone whose formative years were right here on Magdalena Street. It included having the experience that I just described. Then using that to become a successful businessman, a model family man, and a giver, not a taker, with the First Tee program of Philadelphia. It's the story that began right here at Walnut Lane, but it certainly expanded for Mike Brown. And just how it expanded to the benefit of many others is Brownie's wonderful story. And it's coming up next, right here on Inside Golf. The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By Gap, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA Section, the experts in the game and business of golf.
Golf is the great equalizer. For many, this journey is an escape from reality, a chance to be part of a team, a career opportunity. PGA Reach impacts lives through golf by lifting people up, giving them hope, and sending them down an alternate path that they never saw coming. With PGA Reach Philadelphia, as in life and in golf, the most important shot you take is the next one.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues. We are at Walnut Lane Golf Course in the Roxborough section of Philadelphia with none other than the famous Mike Brown. First of all, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Harry.
This is your spot. The First Tee, one of its two big headquarters in Philadelphia, the other one being John F. Byrne in the Northeast. And for the last 5 years, you have been the man when it comes to the First Tee of Philadelphia, as you are the president of the board, and you got your hands on it every day, right?
Every day.
73,000 rounds, by the way, between here at Walnut Lane and John F. Byrne. That's an unbelievable number of golf rounds. We can get into that a little bit later on. But Brownie, the reason we wanted to talk to you today is because recently you went to Dallas, Texas, and you were awarded the Tim Finchem Award for the work you've done with the First Tee program of Philadelphia. How many chapters around the country?
There's 155 chapters.
So there's 155 guys that do what you do.
Correct.
But you were recognized by Tim Finchem and the First Tee nationally for that award. It's 25 years ago the First Tee began.
That is correct. 25 years ago. It's a great honor. And like I like to say, I got the award, but it's as a result of all the things the people that are part of it are. Not only the board, but the staff. We talk about Bill Heinman, who's been on this show many times. What a great job he's done. He's been here 7 years. And Rebecca, who's our programming manager. It's all about the kids. How many kids can we get to? And even though I got the award, which was great because the First Tee gave us a $5,000 check, so that's good. Covered part of our whole staff going down there for the weekend. But it really just says about what we're able to accomplish here as a team. You know, I taught a class down there called Building Capacity. And I know at some point you're going to say, hey, what do you believe will be your legacy when you leave here? And it'll be, we built capacity, that we can handle, 40,000 kids in schools. We can go to 125 different schools. We can we now have 15 high school golf teams playing at here or Bern, and
Wow.
16 middle schools. If you talked to us 5 years ago, there may be 5 teams playing and 3 middle schools. So I credit our staff. My job is to find resources and create a healthy balance sheet that will allow us to continue to grow.
And you're connected, so anybody connected like Mike Brown can find resources, but that's the subject of a book someday. All right, let's talk about, though, your connection, not so much to the first tee, but to Walnut Lane, because as I mentioned in the open to the show, this was your home course growing up. I mean, you were a fence member at Walnut Lane. Do you remember the first time you put a golf club over your shoulder or a bag over your shoulder and went over here and started hitting balls?
Well, so in the old days, you'll remember, Harry, when you grew up, you played in the back drive, but about 6:30 at night, there weren't as many golfers coming through. So me and all the boys, we'd all hang out and we'd grab 3 clubs and a bag and we'd go play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because we weren't by the clubhouse.
Nobody could see you.
Nobody could see us. And back then, they used to have, you remember the old park guards?
Uh-huh.
And because we snuck on, they would chase us on horseback and stuff like that, and we'd run into the woods and get away. So I learned how to play fast, and to this day, people say, oh, he's the fastest player. Well, we had to play fast because we never knew who was coming over our shoulder, because we found an opportunity to fit in for 5 holes at a time.
And how old were you, do you think, the first time?
First time I played golf, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, but really at the age of 12, I took it seriously. You'll remember the name Mark Gubicza.
Sure.
Who
Pitcher,
for the Royals.
Penn Charter.
Yes, we played Little League Baseball together. And when we were 12, I was going to move on, and I was like, I'll never be as good as him. And I threw my energy and time into golf.
How about that? Mark Gubicza, another. You know, talk about name dropping. This guy could fill 5 Rolodexes with famous people that he really has played golf with. And how about Mark Gubicza? Add him to the list.
Absolutely.
Who was your first mentor? Did you have like a coach early on or somebody you looked up to?
I would tell you George Forster, who is a legend in the section.
Iconic local pro.
Also went to Roxborough High, but he worked here. And I like to tell the story. The first time I ever went someplace else to play golf, other than here, it was with George Foster and a guy, Bill Erskine. And they took me to Skipback. And I shot 120 as a 13-year-old.
Really?
And then we went back like the next year and I shot 96. And then the next year I shot 80. And then when I was a sophomore in high school, I shot 66. Okay. So I went from 120 to 66 over 4 years. And I credit George for spending time with me. I'd play with him when he was working here in the shop. But I still see him today, and he always chuckles like, I remember when you were this little.
Right. So he's one of your main guys to get you started. When did you realize, and I guess you just answered this question, but when did you first realize, hey, you know, I could be somebody in this game? Well,
you know what? I think the first thing that happened is I fell in love with the game. I mean, if you fall in love with it, it was kind of like my buddy. I would go hit balls on the baseball field over there at John F. Boyce. I'd hit it at the corner, hit 50 balls, and I'd hit them back. And I just love that time alone. I know I talk a lot, so it's actually kind of funny that I want to spend time alone. Nobody would listen to me. I guess that's good. But then,
whatever it takes.
When I went to high school, I played soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, and I played golf in the spring because I wasn't going to play baseball. And we had a very good golf team. The history was there. George had won the public league, and fortunately for me, I had a great career. I was like 58-1. The only guy I lost to was a fellow board member of First Tee, Josh Greenbaum.
Wow.
I still haven't forgiven him.
You still remember that?
Yeah, I tried to block him from getting on the board, all that kind of stuff, because I'm still bitter about that loss.
You played college golf.
I played
locally,
college golf
at Temple. John McDonald.
John McDonald.
How was that experience? Now, it's a lot different today, college golf, regardless of where you are playing it, as it was back. And when did you start at Temple?
1980.
1980. That was a great year for Philadelphia.
Oh, yes.
Huh?
Oh, yes. I remember in the Ambler campus going to Glenside and celebrating the Phillies winning the World Series. That was a great time. College golf today is much different than it was then. Back then, you know, we were people that played golf. Today, they're great athletes that play golf. And I think there's a big difference. They hit it farther. Scores aren't as different as they were. If you go back and look at the record books at Temple, Brandon Matthews has rewritten all the record books, but he's a PGA Tour professional. But if you go back and you look at all the guys over there, the Tommy Carters, the Brian Quinns, the Jeff Sisks, the David O'Kellys.
Well, I go back even farther than that. You know, Dave Brookersons, Art Jacoby. We're talking about Bob Shepard, who our late friend. Who you know, these guys in their day, they could really play.
Absolutely. And think about the traditions. Gary Harden was there. Sure. Greg Harden was there. I mean, in the 80s, Gary Dietzkrieg, who won a Philly Amateur Patterson Cup. John did a great job of recruiting locally and also in the New England area, where I think those guys thought that Philadelphia was really far south because they all came to Philadelphia. They didn't realize that the weather was going to be just like it was in Boston.
Well, yeah, when they got 3 feet of snow, we only got maybe a foot, right?
Exactly.
So sooner or later, you get back on that course faster. We're going to take a break, talking here at Walnut Lane with the Tim Fincham Award winner for the First Tee program nationally, but he's the man behind it here in Philadelphia, Mike Brown. We'll be back with Brownie as Inside Golf continues in just a moment.
Hey, girls! Hi.
Hello,
Are you kidding me? Is that for me? Huh? Oh, can't wait to see what you got your mother.
The BMW Road Home Sales Event, on now. Hurry in to lease a 2023 BMW X5 xDrive 40i for $859 per month.
So, what do you want to do today?
Today, I want to run. I want to skate.
Thank you.
I want to see a show. I want to play. I want to eat, like a lot. I want to sleep in a hotel. Can we do all that?
We can do all that and more.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues. We're talking to Mike Brown. He is the president of the board for the First Tee program of Philadelphia, but recently was recognized nationally in Dallas, Texas by the First Tee for being the guy when it comes to 155 different chapters of the First Tee. The Philadelphia one was recognized, and he's the reason why, Mike Brown. We're talking about his early career in golf, living right on Magdalena Street across from this very spot where we are, Walnut Lane in Roxborough, and then playing at Temple. What'd you do when you got out of Temple? What, mid-'80s?
Mid-'80s, 84 to 89, I worked for John McDonald in the nonprofit world. Went to grad school, helped coach the team. So I have a master's degree, which as a sales guy, I don't think you really need a master's degree, but it looked good for me.
You don't need a college degree to get by if you got the right personality, and you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
But so I worked for John, and then I went into the copy business. A friend of mine said, hey, you should come to work for me. You do a great job for us. But after working in a nonprofit, I was fortunate I joined Old York Road Country Club.
Oh, really?
My teammate, Gary Dietzkrieg, was a member there. I joined, my entrance fee was $100, and my dues were $530 a year till I was 30 years old. So I could afford that, but I used to referee high school basketball.
Really?
I did umpiring, anything I could do to make a buck. You would call me a hustler.
He's a Renaissance man. Not exactly born on third base, but you've hit several home runs in your career, to borrow a metaphor from the baseball game. But, you know, what is it that guys like yourself eventually find more time and continue to do more for people, not as fortunate maybe as you are, but as the First Tee program likes to say, trying to develop game changers, which you certainly are?
I will tell you, golf's been so good to me. The people I've met along the way, from presidents to vice presidents to celebrities to baseball players, but that was all afforded to me because I played golf. But how it really started was the people here took a liking to me and gave me opportunities, taught me the basics about being nice, being kind, being gentle, helping somebody else out. Mom and Dad, you know, I think giving is a learned behavior. I remember every Sunday, my mom would give the envelope. We didn't have a lot to give, but she'd give that envelope every Sunday. And as we became more and more successful, my wife and I believe you got to give back, and you got to make it available to somebody else to have the same breaks that we have. Because today it's a little tougher environment. I think what we're doing here and the amount of kids that we're touching, where we're introducing them in schools, where we go to 125 schools, teaching them how to play snag golf, and getting them just to like this game, which, as you and I both know, it's the greatest game ever played.
Game of a lifetime.
It really is. You got a bum knee, but you're going to figure out how you're going to play golf again this summer.
Where do you see when I come back?
Exactly.
That's a warning to all my golf partners. You know, you talked earlier about, you know, the people you've met. from presidents to professional golfers, big business guys. I know you have a very good relationship with the former Braves pitcher, John Smoltz, who's a very good amateur golfer. I understand Smoltz was telling you about his dream foursome. He got to play with Tiger and a couple of his old teammates, huh?
Exactly, and it's so funny. He loves playing with Tiger, and he talked about how he and Glavine and Maddox played with Tiger. I just saw an Instagram post that Tiger said one of the greatest things he did was playing with those 3 Hall of Fame pitchers. And he said, I shot 62, 63, and I lost money. Well, I can tell you, I've played with John, and I had him one day, and he shot 68, and he was very ready to collect the money. Very competitive. That was great. That was great. Those 3 guys had fun, and you know why they're successful, because as we know, in a team game, you all have to get along. I say here at First Tee, we have a great team, starting with Bill at the top and all of our staff here. What I do is easy because of what we're doing for kids here in the Delaware Valley. I mean, we're in the 5-county area, and you know, this summer we're hoping for 45,000 next year. We reached over 40,000 kids this year.
Wow, 40,000, and you've been around for 20 years.
Yes.
With the First Tee program at Philadelphia. You talked about John Smoltz. You got to tell him to get Greg Maddox maybe to hold your beer while you go out there and join that group. You told me also you played with Sam Snead one time.
I did, down at the Homestead. Some people tell the story about Sam joined him and then he charged him for a playing lesson. He only played 2 holes
Unbeknownst
to you for $350. But I was invited to this little event, and I was playing with the former Vice President Dan Quayle, along with Sam Snead and my buddy Jack Vardaman, and I made a hole-in-one on the 11th hole. And I was like feeling good. My chest was out, and he leaned over to me. He said, "Son, no big deal. I've got 33 of them." So I then slumped my shoulders, and he brought me right back to
reality. His reality, right?
Yes.
At his home course. All right, we'll continue our conversation with Mike Brown. We're going to take a break. We're going to be back with our Teed Off panel next on Inside Golf.
You're not getting a name from me in a month of Sundays, but.
Welcome back. Inside Golf continues. We're in a holiday mood here, at least for now. I don't know about the next 5 minutes where we'll be, but we're at Lulu, lulucc.com. You can find out everything you want to know about Lulu Country Club here in Upper Dublin. Great clubhouse. You want to just hit balls when it's 20 below outside. They got the simulator rooms here, and it's a great spot. Joining us for about the umpteenth time here on Teed Off, my buddy Joe Logan from myphillygolf.com. Speaking of Lulu, one of their members, he's sort of our host here all the time, Jim Sullivan.
Sort of being the
Great golfer, former pro, played at Temple. Now he's coaching at Penn Charter.
Doing all kinds of stuff.
And killing it in the Interact League.
Thanks, Harry.
And Harry Mays, all decked out. Can we get a shot? First of all, he's got the purple shirt. He's got the, I don't know, they're close to purple matching shoes. Little Peter Millar number there.
Yeah.
This guy, he's our wardrobe maestro. You know Harry Mays, Swing It and Ding It, and a lot of other things. But we're talking today, guys, about, we've all been asked, I'm sure you have, Joe, what's your dream foursome, And, who's your Mount Rushmore, 3 other guys you'd like to play with? Well, today, I'm going in the other direction. How about a nightmarish foursome? 3 other guys that you can't stand to play golf with, but today you get the chance to name names. Go ahead.
I've actually given this thought before, so it's.
So you're used to this.
I would start out with Bobby Knight, the old Indiana basketball coach, who I always found to be an insufferable jerk.
Does he play golf even?
I think he does.
Probably just invite him to play so you can say he's in my insufferable group, right?
Rush Limbaugh, because I never liked his radio show.
Rush could play. He had a decent handicap, I think.
And a certain former president who shall remain nameless, depending on
No,
your
you can't
political
do that.
affiliation.
You cannot do that. Come on. You named Rush. You named Coach Knight.
I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump on the golf course.
Okay. Well, he owns. He can play anywhere he wants.
Yes, he can.
He'd say, "Who needs Joe Logan?"
Save your emails and your angry phone calls.
Okay. So you wouldn't want to play with those 3 guys. Okay.
I don't think so. No.
Really? Like if Trump called you tomorrow and said, "Hey, meet me at Bedminster. We're ready to go. I got Bobby Knight, and Rush Limbaugh.
I gotta go get a knee replacement.
Yeah, that's right. I gotta wash my hair, redo my sock drawer. Or something.
Your hair's fine. Your hair's fine. He'll get you a big
I
white
think he's
hat.
calling anyway.
All right, we got it. We got it. All right, Mr. Sullivan, you're on the tee. Who's joining you in this
You know what
group?
they say, Harry? If you're playing cards and you can't figure out who the sucker is,
It's you.
You like everybody? You mean?
it might be you. So no, I'm not. You're not getting a name from me in a month of Sundays. But everybody knows these type of people, right? So there's the horrible temper, right? Angry, cursing, club throwing, that sort of thing. The insufferably slow. You can't just, you fall behind and they don't get that it's them. And worst of all for me is the one that can't stop talking about their golf shots. They hit a shot, you're all four walking up to the green, and they want to talk about how good their shot was, how bad their shot was, they can't believe what they did. So those three are on the bottom of my list.
Wow. You probably have 4 or 5 names that could go with each one of
I
those.
might be able to fill in the blanks off
criteria.
once the cameras
Suckered me
stop.
into doing it.
So if you got, let me ask you this, Jim. If you got, a text or call from somebody that fits that description, how do you bail out? What do you say? You make something
Can't
up?
make it.
Can't
Yeah,
make
I mean,
it?
one of the best things about having 4 kids is they're a great excuse for a lot of that kind of stuff.
Okay, there you go. All right, now you know where your children fit into this thing. Harry Mays, you're on deck. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I'm only going to name one name. I'm sort of a category guy like you. In this politically charged climate that we live in, I'm going to put all politicians in there. I don't want to play golf with anybody in politics on either side. And the second would be the annoying swing advice guy.
Oh,
we all know who, one of these
tells
guys.
you what you're doing
Well, yeah, you might
wrong?
hit a shot that's less than perfect, and this guy's right up there to tell you what you did wrong and how you can fix it.
Does that happen a lot? I mean,
It happens.
enough?
Yeah, it's happened enough to make it annoying.
Did you ever get good advice, or was it you just get turned off?
I kind of just blanched at the suggestion.
Like, shut up, I'm playing my game.
Exactly. Are you on tour?
Well, how about
by the
you?
way?
Well, you know
Well,
what?
wait, I'm not done.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's only a
He's
threesome so
directing the
far.
show now. No, comedian, actor Pete Davidson.
Ooh.
I can't stand the sight of that guy, and I couldn't care less who he's dated.
Oh, he's dated everybody.
I know. He's got somebody else now, and he's in a Taco Bell commercial.
Do you know the way
Oh,
to
that-
Pete
yes.
Davidson's house or something like that? No.
I
So
don't
he's
see
out.
him playing
Does he
golf
play?
that night.
Does he
I
play?
don't even know.
Oh, well,
I think he's a member of Augusta. I'm pretty sure.
Get out of here, a member of Augusta. Well, I don't know about. I can give you one name.
All right.
It would be.
No, how about 3?
Well, I don't know if we have enough.
Joe's
time.
out on a limb
like-
by himself here. You got to bail him out.
Bill Murray. I can't stand to watch the guy on television. I think CBS has to pull the plug on that charade that he pulls every year out at Pebble Beach. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I think the only people who really look, he's a good actor, I get it, and
Loves
Caddyshack
golf.
and all that. But the thing about Bill Murray that I don't understand, it's a sloppy act. And really, every year it's the same thing with the get up into the bunkers and this and that and walking around
He was
making
great in
faces.
Caddy Master, Harry.
I don't
Caddyshack.
need it.
Sorry.
I don't need it. Okay, so he would be, he's primo. And we ran out of time. I give you 2 others.
We'll make time.
Right, all right. Well, maybe next time. Thanks for joining us here on Teed Off, and we'll be back in just a moment here on Inside Golf. Designed by Donald Ross, Lulu Country Club is one of the premier private golf courses in Montgomery County. This classic 18-hole course boasts a new state-of-the-art clubhouse with many amenities for members to enjoy. Members are invited to play in events, tournaments, and enjoy guest privileges. For more information, contact membership at lulucc.com. The oldest state or regional golf association in the country hits a milestone this year. GAP celebrates its 125th birthday. Celebrating amateur golf since 1897, GAP has evolved to include 300-plus member clubs, more than 90,000 individual members. It offers events for males and females of all ages and ability levels. GAP continues to uphold its mission to preserve, protect, and promote the game of golf. Happy birthday, GAP. Well, as you know, when you're in Roxborough, you got to go to D'Alessandro's. What a perfect way to wrap up our show here with Mike Brown, Walnut Lane, where we were sitting earlier, Mike, is what, about a 6-iron away from here?
About a 6-iron for me and maybe a 3-wood for you.
Yeah, hey, he's telling the truth, folks. Well, we got to come to D'Alessandro's and test it out once again. You probably, living around the corner, you had the best of both worlds. You had a golf course across the street, and around the corner was D'Alessandro's.
I'm on Lipitor as a result of all the D'Alessandro's cheesesteak I ate as a young kid.
They still taste as good.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you like to summarize what, not so much what Mike Brown means to the First Tee program in Philadelphia, but what the First Tee of Philadelphia program means to, as you said, like 40,000 kids next year?
Absolutely. How I'd like to sum it up is it's really the sum of the parts, but as Martin Luther King said, no one man can do what we can all do together. And I'll go back to the support we get from the community. The city has been great to us, our financial supporters, and then our staff and our board. We're carrying out a mission, making one kid at a time a little better. As we say, not only making better people, but better golfers too.
Michael Brown, thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
The Tim Fincham Award winner from the National First Tee program for what he's done in 5 years with the program here in Philly. It's time now to take a break and go get a cheesesteak here at the world famous D'Alessandro's. They're almost as famous as Mike Brown. I'm Harry Donahue. Hey, remember, I hope you had a great holiday season, and don't ever pick up. The game's too precious for all of us. You gotta hang in there. We'll see you next time on Inside Golf.
The 25th season of Inside Golf is presented by Destination Montco Golf. Your next golf getaway is in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Visit montcogolf.com. By the First Tee Greater Philadelphia. The First Tee not only helps young men and women become better golfers, but most important, better people. Get involved. Visit firstteephiladelphia.org. By the Philadelphia Association of Golf Course Superintendents, a community of professionals enhancing the game of golf since 1925. Make sure you thank your golf course superintendent today. By Gap, celebrating 125 years of amateur golf. By Jersey Man and Philly Man Magazine, a digital publication and private business network. Read the current issue free at jerseymanmagazine.com. By the Haverford Trust Company. For life's must-haves, there's Haverford. And by Inside Golf's partner since 1998, the Philadelphia PGA Section, the experts in the game and business of golf.